Fauci warning it could trigger an outbreak you may not be able to control. He also acknowledged today in a Senate hearing the nation's death toll is likely higher than the 81,000 cases being reported. The nation's top health officials testifying before the Senate, 3 of them while under some type of quarantine. Dr. Fauci telling senators and the American people, if you think we have it completely under control, we don't. Tonight, what he said about the timeline for a possible vaccine now, about when children can go back to school. And Senator Mitt Romney telling the president's testing czar, I find our testing nothing to celebrate. Will there be enough tests for Americans preparing to go back to work? Tonight, the new promise, what can be expected and when it comes to testing in this country. Also tonight, the new and alarming cases of that condition affecting children that some doctors believe is linked to COVID-19. At least 13 states now reporting cases, roughly 100 being investigated in New York alone. Governor Cuomo today on the children 5, 7, and 18 years old, all who have died. And tonight, the 8-year-old boy given CPR by a sibling. We have news coming in on him tonight. And what Dr. Fauci said today about children and the virus and the concern going forward. The battle over returning to work, at least 45 states already easing restrictions. Many have yet to meet the federal guidelines. Tesla CEO Elon Musk defiantly reopening his Tesla plant in California against state orders. Workers back on the job. The move at the big 3 automakers in Detroit. And what about the American workers across the country who want to go back to work, but who are still concerned for their health? Overseas tonight, fears of a second wave and the new cluster of coronavirus cases in Wuhan. Of course, ground zero for the pandemic. That city now rushing to test all 11 million residents. South Korea battling a new outbreak tied to 1 man. And news coming in from Russia with the most cases outside the U.S. now. And Vladimir Putin's key aide now testing positive. Back here at home tonight, the deadly shooting of Ahmaud Arbery, what the autopsy reveals as we now hear from the man who recorded that video. And your money tonight, what they're now seeing at the grocery store.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Tuesday night. And we begin tonight with that hearing on Capitol Hill. Dr. Anthony Fauci and the head of the CDC answering questions for the American people on testing, on a realistic timeline for any vaccine, and their candid words about reopening the country too quickly. Dr. Fauci warning, if we are not extremely careful, it could trigger an outbreak you may not be able to control. Senators grilling them. And there was Senator Mitt Romney bluntly telling the president's testing czar that the testing in the U.S. so far is nothing to celebrate. Now with millions of Americans set to start going back to work. And of course, all of this as the death toll now approaches 82,000 lives lost in this country. Dr. Fauci acknowledging today the real number of deaths is, quote, almost certainly higher. Much of the Senate hearing conducted remotely today in these times. The chairman of the committee and 3 out of 4 witnesses under some form of quarantine. And Dr. Fauci not only warning of the potential for an outbreak if reopening is done without great care, he also warned that could then deal another setback to the economy. And on testing, those words from Senator Romney saying it came too late in the U.S. and that we, quote, treaded water for months. The moment that he compared testing here to what was done in South Korea very early on, and you'll see that. Dr. Fauci said a vaccine by the fall, by September, when it's hoped millions of children will go back to school, is a bridge too far, in his words. He was then asked, does that mean they shouldn't go back? His clarification right here tonight. We're going to carefully guide you through it all today, that hearing, and we're going to begin with ABC's Mary Bruce leading us off.
Testifying from his modified quarantine at home, the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, today with a stark warning for the 45 states moving to reopen without meeting the federal guidelines.
If a community or a state or a region doesn't go by those guidelines and reopen, the consequences could be pretty dire, correct?
The consequences could be really serious. There is a real risk that you will trigger an outbreak that you may not be able to control, which in fact, paradoxically, will set you back, not only leading to some suffering and death that could be avoided, but could even set you back on the road to trying to get economic recovery.
Fauci's message at odds with President Trump, who insists the country is ready to get back to work.
I'd just like to hear your honest opinion. Do we have the coronavirus contained?
And if you think that we have it completely under control, we don't. Well, I think we're going in the right direction. But the right direction does not mean we have by any means total control of this outbreak.
Fauci was asked whether there will be a vaccine or treatments by the beginning of the school year.
The idea of having treatments available or a vaccine to facilitate the reentry of students into the fall term would be something that would be a bit of a bridge too far.
He later clarified that reopening schools should be tied to a community's infection rate.
I did not mean to imply at all any relationship between the availability of a vaccine and treatment and our ability to go back to school.
Republican Senator Rand Paul pushed back on Fauci's warnings.
I think we ought to have a little bit of humility in our belief that we know what's best for the economy. And as much as I respect you, Dr. Fauci, I don't think you're the end all. I don't think you're the one person that gets to make a decision.
I have never made myself out to be the end all and only voice in this. I'm a scientist, a physician, and a public health official. I give advice according to the best scientific evidence.
According to the official count, more than 80,000 Americans have died. Fauci says that underestimates the toll.
The number is likely higher. I don't know exactly what percent higher, but almost certainly it's higher.
Today, Democrats and Republicans on the committee agreed the key to reopening safely is testing. The president Monday boasted about the country's testing capacity.
We have met the moment, and we have prevailed.
Trump and his testing czar, Admiral Brett Giroir, tout that the U.S. has tested a larger percentage of the population than South Korea. But Republican Senator Mitt Romney ripped apart that claim.
But you ignored the fact that they accomplished theirs at the beginning of the outbreak, while we treaded water during February and March. So partially as a result of that, they have 256 deaths and we have almost 80,000 deaths. I find our testing record nothing to celebrate whatsoever.
So far this month, the U.S. has conducted about 3 million tests.
So by September, we project that our nation will be capable of performing at least 40 to 50 million tests per month if needed at that time.
So many questions about the testing. Let's get right to Mary Bruce tonight. And Mary, in addition to the testing, we also heard questions today about the timing of a vaccine. The president with us last week, of course, dialing back on any promise of a vaccine by year's end, those 300 million doses. In fact, the president told me that we'll get through this vaccine or not. But today, Dr. Fauci was pressed on this, and he offered what he believed was a realistic timeline for any possible vaccine.
Well, David, there are now at least 8 vaccines that are in clinical development, and Fauci says they are moving to produce some even before they know if some of them will work, so that they can scale up quickly if they end up being approved. But this is a process that takes time, and Fauci says they are hoping they will know if any of these vaccines can succeed by late fall or early winter. David.
All right, Mary Bruce with us tonight, leading us off. Mary, thank you. Dr. Fauci was also pressed today on the virus and children and the concern over that dangerous condition that many doctors believe is connected to the virus. At least 13 states now reporting cases, and here in New York today, the governor talking about 3 children, ages 5, 7, and 18, who were lost to this condition. Dr. Fauci warning today there is still a lot we do not know, and ABC's Stephanie Ramos on that part of the story.
When Bobby Dean got COVID-19, he never had any respiratory symptoms. Instead, the 9-year-old was hospitalized with a fever, rash, irritated red eyes, and he couldn't hold down any food.
He was just crying out in pain anytime anyone went near his belly. His belly hurt so bad.
Bobby's now recovering after receiving medications used to treat a similar illness, Kawasaki disease.
It's a very real thing, and it's a very scary thing.
Tonight, 13 states reporting that rare inflammatory syndrome possibly linked to the virus. New York investigating about 100 cases. 3 kids have died.
We've lost 3 children, 5-year-old boy, a 7-year-old boy, an 18-year-old girl. This is a truly disturbing situation.
Dr. Anthony Fauci today warning, we're still learning about the virus's impact on children.
I think we better be careful if we are not cavalier in thinking that children are completely immune to the deleterious effects.
We've been following 8-year-old Jaden Hardawar, who went from a fever to cardiac arrest. His brother giving him CPR.
No pulse at all. My older boy, he get on the bed and he starts to pump the chest.
Jaden rushed to the ER and put on a ventilator. After 2 weeks, he was finally released from the hospital today. The little boy, who's been through so much, welcomed home by family, friends, and the first responders who helped save his life.
It takes some time for them to recover, so we are hoping to see that he recover and come back strong.
David, doctors say when they start to see these kids, they've often had a few days of persistent stomach illness and fever, and it progresses quickly. Doctors say parents need to be on the lookout for these symptoms because in just a matter of days, it can turn serious. David.
All right, Stephanie Ramos on this again tonight. Stephanie, thank you. And of course, the debate in this country, the millions of workers who do want to go back to work, but who are still worried about their health. It's not one side versus the other. And tonight, a lot of attention now being paid to Tesla CEO Elon Musk, calling workers back to his California Tesla factory, defying local health orders. Some workers very happy to get back, others, though, still worried about their health, and it highlights what workers will be going through across this country as we reopen. Here's Matt Gutman on that tonight.
Tonight, with each truckload of new Teslas, California's largest manufacturing employer, Tesla, openly violating public health orders. The company is touting its new safety measures, plexiglass barriers in break rooms, mask requirements, plastic sheeting.
They measure the temperature before we walk in. They give you a mask. You sanitize your hands before you go in.
The tech giant CEO, Elon Musk, saying he's at work today after filing suit against Alameda County, accusing the county's shelter-at-home order of violating his company's civil rights. Now tweeting, "If anyone's arrested, I ask that it only be me." Officials telling ABC News they're more interested in diplomacy than arrests.
I want to make sure that we can do it, like I said, in a safe, methodical way.
And tonight, opening in compliance of state orders, the big three automakers, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, bringing thousands of assembly line workers in Michigan for a phased reopening, and they aren't starting production until Monday. Some manufacturers struggling with handling the risks of reopening. Food plants in particular, deemed essential and ordered back in the Defense Production Act, but only after applying new safety precautions. Tyson Foods in Portland, Maine, closed down for 6 days after an outbreak. It reopened last week, but now reports 51 people have tested positive for COVID, 12% of the workforce. Today was Michael Gottlieb's first day back at a pork plant in South Dakota.
As one of those who got sick, today I was okay, and I was happy to go back to work today, and I wish they did that way before.
David, local law enforcement telling me they've heard so many complaints from both sides of that Open Up America divide, much like what we're hearing from the rest of the country. Some folks saying, please open up the plant, allow it to be open. Others saying they feel like their health is being jeopardized here. But one man coming out of that plant had sort of that middle ground saying, I need this job desperately, even though I am concerned about my health here.
Yeah.
David.
Let me work, but keep me safe. Matt Gutman tonight. Matt, thank you. Overseas tonight, we continue to watch as other countries reopen before we do, and now fears of a second wave. Wuhan, China, racing now to test all 11 million people in Wuhan after seeing new cases. And in South Korea, they're racing to contain that possible outbreak we reported on, connected to one man. There's also news tonight involving a close aide to Vladimir Putin. Here's our senior foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell now.
Tonight, a new outbreak in Wuhan, China, where the pandemic first erupted. The city apparently clear of any cases for days, but now a new cluster and a 10-day battle just launched to draw up one of the most ambitious testing goals in the world, to have the ability to check every single one of Wuhan's 11 million residents for the virus. This as South Korea also battles a fresh outbreak. We visited the city of Daegu there in February.
This is now the biggest outbreak outside of China. We're in the city centre, or in one of the main urban areas. Just listen how quiet it is.
After months of aggressive testing, the country was down to less than 10 cases a day. But as nightclubs reopened in Seoul, the numbers spiked.
I was passing by, there was too many crowd here.
One 29-year-old man visiting 5 clubs, later testing positive. Thousands are now being tracked and traced. Phone records, credit card bills, even CCTV being used to identify who was in the area. More than 100 now testing positive. Despite Korea's success in tackling the pandemic, the risks of reopening are proving very real.
And David, we're also hearing that Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman for Russian President Vladimir Putin, has also tested positive. He's unwell, he's in hospital, but we understand it's over a month since he last saw Vladimir Putin himself. David?
All right, Ian, panel tonight. Ian, thank you. Back here at home this evening into the deadly shooting of Ahmaud Arbery, the African-American jogger killed by a white father and son. Tonight, we now hear from the man who recorded that video. Here's Steve Osunsami.
People outraged by the killings seen in this cell phone video are talking tonight about the autopsy. It shows that 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia, had no alcohol or drugs in his system and was shot once in the hand and twice in the chest. And now the neighbor who recorded the video of the young man's killing is talking too.
I wish I hadn't have been there, but once again, if I hadn't have been there, there wouldn't have been no video.
William Roddy Bryan was there February 23rd when Travis McMichael and his father Gregory, a former police officer, are seen killing the unarmed young black man in what they told police was an attempted citizen's arrest. Why he was recording, he won't say, but he tells us he's fully cooperating with state authorities who've taken over the case from local prosecutors.
I don't have a relationship with the McMichaels. You know, that's just not something that should have happened.
Arbery's family says he left for a jog from his home here and stopped about 2 miles away to walk through this home construction site. The home of one of the gunmen, Travis McMichael, is just a few doors down, where in January he told police that a pistol was stolen from an unlocked pickup truck parked outside. Less than a block away is the intersection where Arbery took his last breath. The McMichaels told police they thought Arbery was connected to possible break-ins in the neighborhood. Nearly 2.5 months passed before both were charged with murder and aggravated assault.
My son was killed, and the people that could help me was not helping me.
State authorities tonight are joining federal investigators who are looking into the actions of 2 local prosecutors who removed themselves from this investigation because of apparent connections to the McMichaels. David?
All right, Steve Osunsami, our thanks to you again tonight, Steve. And this evening, many eyes on the Supreme Court and some mixed responses today from the justices during an historic debate over the president's taxes and financial records. Several cases are now under review. In 3 hours of oral arguments heard over the telephone, the justices were asking lawyers for House committees investigating Trump businesses and new ethics laws. They asked, where is the line between oversight and political harassment? But observers say it seemed they might be more sympathetic to a New York prosecutor's pursuit of records involving hush money paid to Stormy Daniels. They cited Paula Jones' civil case against Bill Clinton, in which they decided it could move forward even while Bill Clinton was president. It's always impossible to predict a decision in the current cases expected by July. When we come back here tonight, the deadly plane crash, the plane trying to land on a busy street. The images in a moment.
We could never do what they do, but what we can do is be a partner that never quits,